Hey guys, welcome to Shaniki's Court YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna be reviewing The Last Wish, which is the second book in the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. I know many of you would argue that this is the first book, but I'm actually gonna make another video explaining the book orders in the Witcher series and saga. But this video is not about that, so let's just jump straight into the review. Spoiler alerts, of course, as always. This book is a lot shorter than the first one in Sword of Destiny. It has about 100 pages less. It's 280 pages long. It's a short book that's easy to read through. It's another collection of short stories. It has 7 short stories. They all, revolve around Geralt. Geralt's the main character, the main hero of the stories. What I would actually like to say is the book only has 280 pages, right? And if you compare it to something like any of the books from the Song of Ice and Fire collection, it's a lot shorter. Those have around 800 pages, right? But the shortness doesn't take away from the quality, actually, because it's just a lot narrower story and with a lot less characters. Basically, you have one main character and that's it. So the quality of the book is it's on the same level, really. And what I like about the book is that the characters have depth to them, and that's important for the story. And the world actually seems to be alive, It's a living, breathing ecosystem. It's not a black and white fairy tale, There's no absolute good or no absolute evil. And Geralt always walks that line, from what is right or wrong and where to cross the line in any direction. I would recommend this book to anyone who's played the game and likes the story. Or to anyone that likes fantasy books in general. I do want to go through the stories shortly. The book has a framing story that's called The Voice of Reason, and talks about Geralt recovering from a wound that he receives in the first short story called The Witcher. The Witcher sort of shows him in this dark light. He kills 3 people straight off the bat, just at the beginning of the story. They attack him and he puts them down. And then he takes on a bounty hunt for Striga, who is actually King Foltest's daughter. The story is happening in Vizima, and this is where King Foltest lives and his family, and his daughter died and was then cursed and came back as Striga. Now she kills people during the night and stuff like that. He manages to outsmart her and he actually lifts the curse in the end, he's successful. But just before he does that, he's gravely wounded and he has to go into this temple where he recovers from the wounds. The Witcher story actually has a lot in common with the Witcher 1 video game, so that's interesting. You can also see the fight scene in the Witcher 1 intro movie. But the game is just, I actually bought it and installed it, tried to play it, just to see how it is, maybe explore Vizima a little bit. I know it was a big hit back then, it was a great game, but today it's just, please kill me. The second short story in The Last Wish is called The Grain of Truth. And it's not as an important story for the Witcher world because it's not connected to anything really, but it's important for the character development and that character being Geralt, because it shows him in a much brighter light now. This book has a lot of curses, so just bear with that. You get used to it. It's great. It's great. This guy is called Nivellen, right? And he's cursed and he's a monster. And the only thing that was gonna lift the curse is if he is truly loved by a woman or something in the sorts, which Geralt manages to achieve at the end. And the mansion is also alive and stuff like that. The story really reminds me of the Beauty and the Beast. Now I know where the filmmakers got the idea. Grain of Truth. Copycats. The third story now is called The Lesser Evil, and it talks about now the main villain of the story is Renfri. But the way I took it is the story actually talks about the Curse of Black Sun. Now the Curse of Black Sun is a prophecy written by CNN. It's fake. The prophecy said that 60 girls that were born during an eclipse are gonna bring the end to the human civilization. Those girls were sort of marked by the prophecy and they were cast out of society, hunted by sorcerers, being experimented on, or locked in the towers just to wait out their days and stuff like that. Now, naturally, they wanted to escape. They wanted to be free. They did show signs of aggression, of course, that the prophecy said they would. But was it because of the actual eclipse, or was it because they were marked by the prophecy?
Curse of the Black Sun. That's why you were banished, right?
Mm-hmm. Twisted princesses, mutants. I'm certain you've heard of us.
Even met one of you, Renfri of Kraden.
And? Was she truly monstrous?
She was cruel, that's certain. But what caused it? The curse or what she went through? Asking myself to this day.
You killed her, didn't you?
Had no choice.
The Curse of the Black Sun is sort of like this paradox, or maybe one of those things. You know, a man often meets his destiny on a road he took to avoid it. And what's interesting about the prophecy, you know, people believed it, you know, and you can choose to believe or not to believe. And you can compare those prophecies to today's news, where you sit back, you watch TV, and you watch the news, and some of them are true, some of them are false, some of them are, you know, intentionally misguiding us. Some of them are not accurate, and some of them are somewhere in between all of that. And you know, just listen to the news, and you just filter them on your own. You know, like that's probably true. Yeah, that can't be true. That's bullshit. That one's true. Oh yeah, that one's true. Of course, based on nothing, based on information you just received from the television, from the news, right? The problem of today's journalism, if you ask me, is it's not about accuracy anymore. No, it's not about being legit. It's all about this competition now, you know, who's going to publish more articles, who's going to have more likes underneath, who's going to have more comments under the article, who's going to be the fastest. And that's the biggest problem, is they want to be the fastest one. They don't want to be accurate anymore. They don't want to, you know, check the information as many times necessary just to be true, accurate. Maybe look at it from another point of view as well. No, they just hear something, they write it down, they publish. Oh, we were first. That's amazing. But you know, in the Witcher 3 expansion, we have this a girl that was born under the curse of the Black Sun during the eclipse. Sylvia Anna, and she's the main villain of Wine and Blood, or is it Blood and Wine expansion, something like that. And that's basically the main story there. The next short story is called The Question of Price, and basically talks about a party that Queen Calanthe hosts for her daughter, Princess Pavette, where they search for her perfect suitor to be. And I think she's about 16 years old or something like that. She's very young for, you know, today's age. Or maybe she was even younger in the story, I'm not really sure. But we see a lot of known characters here from the Witcher 3 game. We see a young fella, Crayon Crate. We see the druid Mousek. We see Emir, which is Cyrilla's father. So we basically meet Cyrilla's parents here. Yeah. Yo. So we basically see her parents here. And Geralt actually comes for protectioners of some sorts, and he's not introduced as Geralt, he's introduced as the Ravix of Forhorn.
My findings show you may take part as Geralt of Rivia.
What a surprise.
Or as the Honorable Ravix of Forhorn. It's not every year we have a combatant who can boast of two crests. Which do you prefer? Ravix of Forhorn was the name under which you attended a feast honoring Princess Pavetta, daughter of Queen Calanthe of Sintra, on the occasion of her 15th birthday.
That's actually right.
The last two stories are The Edge of the World and The Last Wish. The Edge of the World talks about Geralt, how he meets Dandelion. The Last Wish talks about Geralt meeting with Yennefer for the first time. So they're interesting stories from that point of view, because Dandelion and Yennefer are two other main characters in the first two books. I would say The Last Wish is a bit more interesting. And you just see Yennefer and Geralt are so perfect for each other. In a way, they're sort of both those strong characters, but just Geralt's quiet and Yennefer is loud. A great book, a great read. I would recommend it to anyone that likes fantasy genre, to absolutely everyone who played the video game. It will give you a lot more depth to the whole story, to the whole world. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the review. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.